Hello and welcome to Financial Planner, the show that takes complex financial concepts, breaks it down into easy, digestible bits. My name is Smriti Rao. As always, the guest this evening is Sumit Vaid. He's a certified financial planner. We'll be going through a bunch of emails that viewers have sent in. Then we'll try and make sense of what their queries are, and we'll also tell them if their plan is right, if their investment plans are working for them or not. So Sumit, welcome. Thanks so much for coming on. Let's begin with one of the emails that we have, and this one is on home loans. We get a lot of those emails, so we decided we can pick this one and talk about it in depth, because it's sort of asks a lot of questions that you and I have discussed in the past.
Sure.
And it's a bunch of questions that a lot of viewers want to find out. So this particular viewer writes in, he says that he has 11.5 lakhs home loan. And when he got the home loan, he got it at an interest rate of 9.5%, but now that interest rate has gone up to 10.75%. He asked that as the RBI has increased the base rate this May, and then they're expected to increase their interest rates further, how much more is my interest rate going to go up by? He's a little concerned about that. Also, he says that he got a salary increment, so that put him in a position where he could actually prepay his loans. So he had the extra cash. All he did was take it and put it towards his home loan. So now that home loan has come down, it's come down to close to about 7 lakh rupees. So he says, should I make further prepayments? But now, you know, as we've discussed in the earlier shows, there's something called prepayment penalties. He's getting penalized for that. He says, I have to pay 2% extra on prepayment, more than 25% of principal amount. So basically here you have someone, Sumit, interesting case over here, and I'm sure is representative of a lot of people, that home loan, wants to prepay it, he has the money, but he can't, and then he's on this floating rate business, so he sees his interest rates going up, and now, you know, we keep talking about inflation and the steps that the RBI is going to take. So what do you make of his predicament in general?
Smriti, thanks a lot again for getting me on this show, and as we started last show saying, this is the tax planning season. Most of the products on the financial market side, whether it's the loans, investments, or any other such financial products, got bought in the maximum amount in this quarter of January, February, March. I don't know why people do it, but they still do it in the guise of tax planning. So house loan is one of the tips which people use to plan for their taxes. So I'm going to again start off by, you know, busting a myth on the tax planning side of saying you should not take a house loan because it'll help you do tax planning. That's a wrong way.
Do people actually do that?
Yes.
Because I would assume that you're buying your home is something of a dream, and that you should actually plan for it and buy it. How would people actually do it to save tax?
So if I'm a, you know, a sales guy representing a house loan organization, I will come and say, sir, have you done the tax planning? You say no. Have you thought about buying a house loan or taking a house? Yeah, I was thinking about next year. Why next year? Let's do it right now. It's like, it's the core objective gets missed. The way it gets missed in insurance, same way it gets missed even in the house loan. Yes, you have tax benefits available to housing loan, which are very good. You should avail of them, but never take a house loan just because you want to do tax planning. That's the wrong way of doing it. Take house loan because you want to buy a house, and take house loan based on your need and perspective, not on how tax savvy it is for me. That's the wrong way of doing it. So I'm starting off with that tip as part of our promise to each other last show. Coming back to this particular question, starting off with the interest rate scenario, you know, and the impact on him, I think that's what floater home loans or floater loans always does to you. And for India, it's a very interesting case. To a large extent, large number of home loan buyers or loan takers are now really understanding the devil of floater loan, including Sumit Vaid. So I'm also on the same boat. You know, I bought a house, thought through that floater loan is good because at that point in time, interest rate was not expected to go into the spiky time the way it is happening, and suddenly it's hitting everybody, including a financial planner. So I can really understand the predicament. As a thumb rule, if you have got surplus, you should repay the loan first. There's just no question on that, you know. Lot of time you will see people advising some of their friends are saying, no, don't repay the loan, invest this money in some of the investments or equity market which will generate you higher return, and keep that surplus which you are generating in terms of higher returns on the investments minus the interest rate with you. Wrong way of doing it. That's pathetic way of doing it. If you have surplus, if you have ability of repaying your loan, do that first. But the other extreme is it should not be that in order to repay the loan, because psychologically you are troubled, you take your investments, there is no emergency planning, you haven't thought through about insurance, and does everything is to repay the loan. Wrong way of doing it. Create a balance. If you have surplus, if you have taken care of emergency planning, risk planning, etc., repay the loan, work on your other dreams and goals later.
So, but then, so that's about repayment of loan earlier, like prepayment of the loan. But what about the interest rates? I mean, now that we're in this era when things are not going to get any cheaper, inflation is spiraling out of control. People, analysts, and everybody that we talk to say that, look, this is an era where you'll see more and more interest rates hikes. So it's already gone up for him from 9.5% to more than 10.5%.
Sure.
It's going to go up further. Is this just a reality that he'll have to live with? Is this a reality that you, Sumit, because you yourself has one of these loans?
Yep.
You know, is this something that you just kind of, it's a bitter pill to swallow, but you have to do it? Just bite the bullet on this one.
I'm in sync with everything you said, other than the word era. You know, I think that's a very long-term phenomenon. In my own professional financial planning career, I'm seeing it for the third time.
Right, right.
The same kind of, you know, spike on the interest rate happening, and the same analyst going away and painting the worst picture ever you can even think about, saying this is the end of the world, inflation will go out of the roof, interest rates are going all-time high, people will have problems. Let's go 2 years back, Smriti. Me and you were doing the financial planning show even at that point of time in some other format.
Right.
We were talking about the other extreme, you know. The other extreme was inflation is not there, there is no pickup of credit.
Yeah.
People are thinking about deferring their investment decision. Nobody is ready to buy home loans or purchase home itself. So we have gone through from a completely a bearish sentiment to a completely a bullish sentiment in the space of 2 years. Now that's what markets are. That's what interest rate cycles are.
Okay.
It should not impact your long-term dreams and goals.
Okay, it's a reality basically.
It's a reality.
You're saying that whichever way, up or down, they're always going to be around, and that shouldn't impact your long-term goals.
True. And remember, things that go up has to come down, and vice versa. It happens. Cycle might be longer, shorter, reasons might be different. Do not get emotionally perturbed by this.
Okay. Now the other thing, of course, was prepayment, and you addressed this earlier. You said that, look, if you have any extra money, go towards putting it towards, funnel it back into your loan and pay it off.
True.
And this is, of course, after you've taken care of every other thing, your emergency money, your risk planning, all that is in place. Put your money away. Now, earlier, remember, we talked about prepayment penalties. He's getting penalized over here. Should he just, again, swallow it and say, I'm just going to go ahead and pay this off because I have the extra cash, I'm going to go ahead and do it? Is there some conversation he can have with his banker that says...
He should. He has to be the best bargaining Indian he can be. You know?
Go and haggle.
Go and become a true Indian in terms when you have to bargain with your banker. You go back, talk and talk and talk. Because as per my understanding, I think the real estate regulator or RBI recently came up with some guidelines on prepayment clause.
Okay.
As per my understanding, it might be they might have come up with no prepayment penalty for loans being given now. And since it is an earlier agreement, you already have a clause in agreement. But my understanding is if you really go and put your perspective and really negotiate with your banker right, there might be an opportunity for you either to completely hive off this penalty or get reduced further. And here is a very logical thing which I see in my mind. I've never tried out with a banker, which is what it is. Now, prepayment penalty should be levied on the 100% loan repayment, right?
Right.
Who says you pay 100%? Pay 90%, keep 10% because that'll help you in tax planning. So do not pay 100% back. Keep some part off because you know there is some ATC available to you.
Right, right.
And get it within threshold level where it's not impacting you and really not hurting you in a bad way. And keep it on. So there are ways and means to really go and do that. And most of the bankers these days are good gentlemen. They'll really advise you what is right for them. After all, they're getting the money back. They should be happy.
Right. So if you have the extra cash, then why not just go ahead and repay your loan over there? All right. On that note, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about mutual funds. A 23-year-old viewer writes in. He says that I want to start investing in mutual funds. How do I decide what fund will work for me? That's after this.